Yo everyone, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to this next episode where I'm going to be turning 5 Solana into 500 Solana. Now, many of you who watched the first episode will know it's been about 5 or 6 days since that video. Now, I don't want you to think that, oh, does this guy trade only once a week? No. So the wallet that I'm doing the challenge on is purely for the challenge. I trade every single day, but on the days that I'm going to be making these videos is the days I'm going to be trading on that particular wallet. Now, I don't know if you can hear from my voice, but I've been a little bit ill over the past few days. That's why I haven't recorded a new video. But today I actually decided to take a trade on the wallet. And again, I'm going to be going over exactly what I took, how much profit I made, and so on and so forth in this video. Now, you might be thinking, why don't I just trade normally on the challenge account? It's because I don't take high risks when it comes to trading personally. What do I mean by that? I mean, I usually trade like 5 to 15% of my wallet balance per trade maximum on, my personal account. But with this challenge, I'm going to be taking a lot more higher risks. So I don't want to mix that in with my personal trades, if that makes sense, right? So for example, with the trade I'm going to go over in this video, I took a risk of about 30% of my balance, which again, I wouldn't usually do on my personal balance. Okay. So as you can see here, this is the coin that I got into. It reached 2 mil market cap, which is currently the all-time high. And I'm going to go over in this video what I think it's going to do and so on and so forth. Now, I got in, believe it or not, below 100k. And I can prove this to you by going to my private group, the Crypto House. If you're in my free Telegram group, you'll know about this group. So as you can see, I called RC at 77k, but I didn't have much conviction in it at this point because the holders was quite high. The top holders was quite high, right? And I personally would want a coin to have good holder distribution, which this one didn't. So as you can see, haven't bought in yet because holder distribution needs to improve. Too many 3% plus holders. I kept my group updated a little bit later on. So about 10 minutes later, I told them holder distribution has improved after the dip to 50k. So if we just zoom out here, you'll see this is where I called it, right? Around like 77k. Okay. I called it in like the first 3 minutes. And then it dipped to 50k. And then that's where the holder distribution improved. And I got in around like 70 to 80k. Right now, the blue lines that you see on the chart is where I got out at different points. Now I've still got a position in this, but I took my initials around 372k, which again, I would never do this on my personal account. On my personal account, I always take initials between 50 to 100%, right? Because you will never know whether a coin is going to do like a 3x, 4x, 5x. Might as well play it safe and take your initials out between 50 to 100%. Sometimes if I'm feeling risky, maybe 150%. But as you can see here, I left it running to almost a 5x before I took out my initials, right? Now, why did I take out my initials here? Recently, a lot of coins have been topping at 400k. Like I've seen it a lot where coins would, if they was to break 200k, a lot of the time either 300k or 400k will be the next resistance, and sometimes they won't even break it. So I thought, you know what, just in case, let me take my initials here because I've already taken a lot of a risk by holding it for 5x, right? So I took my initials here, and then as you can see, it barely even stayed at 400k and it started flying again. When I saw the way it flew, and it didn't even sort of test 500k, which is usually a very big psychological point, I thought, yeah, this coin has a lot more potential, right? It went up to 700k. Again, as I said, because it didn't even resist 500k, I still had confidence. I knew it was going to use 500k as a support because again, that's a psychological point. That's a point where a lot of people say, okay, you know what? Let me buy at 500k once it dips, because if it goes to 1 million, that's a 2x. That's how people think, right? Then again, as predicted, it went up. Now, what started to happen was, as you can see, it started treating like 800k as a resistance, and I started getting cautious because once again, if 1 mil isn't a resistance point, like if a coin doesn't reach 1 mil, usually it will only reach 800k and then it would dip. So I thought, you know what? Let me try take some profit here, and I kept seeing it like go up here, come back down, go up, come back down. It would never close above 800k, which was getting me a bit worried. To be honest, this line shouldn't even be here. I don't think I closed it around there. I closed it around here. But yeah, I was very cautious as to whether or not it's going to get to 1 mil. And if it does get to 1 mil, would it just come crashing down? Obviously, again, I was kind of right, kind of wrong. It did end up breaking 800k, but as you can see, it did resist it for a good like 6 or 7 minutes, and I was just on the charts like waiting and waiting and waiting to see what it's going to do. And by this time, I've already made a 10x, right? Now, I forgot to mention, by the way, I put 2 Sol into this. As I said, I risked about 30% of my wallet balance. So at the end of the last video, I had 6.9 Sol, and I risked 2% on this trade. Sorry, 30% on this trade, which is 2 Sol. By this time, I made about 25 Sol profit, something like that, because obviously I took my initials out around 372k, right? And then obviously it ended up breaking a mil. What gave me confidence that it's going to continue pumping further than a mil is that it actually closed above a mil before it came back down, which is usually a good sign, right? Usually what will happen is if it's resisting a mil, it will be lines like this. So it won't be, you can see it closed at 1.01 mil. It wouldn't have done that. And if it was going to sort of dip straight after a mil. But the fact that it closed above it gave me confidence that, okay, this is probably going to shoot further. And it's the same thing with like look, so for example, it did it for 1.5 mil. It didn't close on top, right? It bounced here. And that's why I sold on this blue line as well, because as soon as I saw that, I thought, you know what, actually, it didn't do what it did at mil, which was close above a mil. It did the opposite. It closed below 1.5 mil. So it might have a bigger dip, which again, it did. It actually did dip a lot more than it dipped here, right? So I sold a bit here, sold a bit here. Now, in case you're wondering, how much do I sell at these different points? Me personally, my personal preference is I sell 25%. Why? Because my bonk bot already has the settings as sell 25%, sell 100%, or sell X%. And just for ease and simplicity, I always just click sell 25%. It also allows me to still have a big bag left in, but to also not be greedy, right? Because, you know, if I don't sell 25% and I sell 50% and it goes a lot further, I'll get angry at myself for taking profit so soon. But then also, I'll get angry at myself if I took out only 10% and then it ends up dipping a lot. So I find for myself, 25% is a sweet spot, right? Now, at this current point in time, I'm still holding a small bag. I am waiting to see what it's going to do. Although it looks like it's sort of entered a downtrend, I personally still think it might just be bouncing off the support of like 1.5 mil. So if we bring this up to here, you'll see 1.5 mil is here. It could be treating, well, to be fair, I don't think it's 1.5 mil actually. It's probably the last resistance, which was 1.4 mil, right? That's what it's treating as a support. Now, as you can see, there's still a lot of buying volume, right? The volume in total is 196k in the past 5 minutes, and the buy volume is outweighing the sell volume, which is a good sign. So what I'll probably wait for here is to see if it can touch 2 mil, which it looks like it will. If it touches 2 mil for the third time and dips again to around this range, I'll probably take profit in full, because usually it gets third time lucky. And if it doesn't get third time lucky, it will probably just drop significantly lower before it maybe does another rally, right? Or before we enter what I like to call phase 2. If that's the case, it's not always the case. So yeah, that's the plans with RC. As you can see from what I mentioned, I obviously called it in the group at 77k. For the group, I made more than 23x actually, because when it got to 2 mil, I think that's a 26 or a 25x, one of the two. But yeah, obviously, if you go into this coin when I called it, which was 77k, let's say you put in $100, you'd make like 2.5k. But obviously, I don't recommend always holding on to things for that long. So guys, I actually ended up ending the video and telling you guys that I'll update you on what the price does. But I thought, why not just press record again and show you what it's doing. So as you can see, it's reached 2.2 mil right now. So it managed to break it third time round. Now, I've done a bit of calculations of what profit I'm on, plus when I took away. So I'm currently 17 Sol in profit that's already been taken out. That's at these 3 points. I've still got 35 Sol on average still in the position, and that's at this point here. So I'll probably take some profit here now, just because I think it's going to test 2.5 mil very soon. I'll probably take it around 2.3 mil. Now, just to let you guys know, there will be more frequency in these live trading calls. It's just because I've been ill over the past few days, hence why there hasn't been any videos for like 5 or 6 days. But yeah, other than that, if you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section below. If you want YouTube to show you more videos like this, click subscribe. You'll tell the algorithm you like these type of videos. And also, I've got a free community in the description below, where I obviously drop free calls as well if you want to get into those. But yeah, other than that, I will see you in the next episode. Take care.